In this concert, Leonard Bernstein answers all of the people who complain that a piece of music is no good because they can't hum the tune. A melody, it turns out, is not a tune. A tune is just one kind of melody. And Bernstein shows you how you can find all kinds of melodies in very unexpected places. You could even hum them, or not. He uses a staggering range of composers to illustrate this, including some that no one else would ever dare play on a children's concert. We get the love theme from Wagner's very long and very dense opera, Tristan and Isolde, for example. But for him, any kind of music, as long as it was good, was fair game. He does assume that his audience has heard of Tristan. I don't think they had, but they certainly like the melody from it that the orchestra plays, especially after Bernstein explains it. You know, one thing that always amazes me about these concerts is the number of different things that he could do in the course of just one of them. He could conduct, he could play the piano, he talked to the audience. You know, these are three very different skills, and for most musicians, just doing one of these things at a time is a splendid achievement. And most find talking to an audience at all terrifying. But Leonard did all three. Sometimes he even sang, even though he admitted that he couldn't really sing at all. And he usually sounded pretty bad. By the end of 1962, when this concert was performed, he'd been doing them for 5 years, and he had it down. He spoke the script, which, as you know, he wrote. He was very natural. He might get a little breathless after conducting, because conducting is an incredibly athletic activity, especially when he did it. But he could still talk and get exactly the result he wanted from the orchestra. It must have been hard, but the main impression I always get from these concerts is that he is having an incredibly good time.
You've all heard of Wagner's great opera Tristan and Isolde, and I'm sure you've heard the Prelude. Now, this Prelude begins with a four-note motive like this. And immediately after comes another motive, also of four notes. Now, the exciting thing is the way Wagner puts these two motives together. He makes the second motive begin smack on the end of the first one, so that the last note of one and the first note of the other are joined, locked together, locking the two motives securely, like this. Now he adds some marvelous harmony underneath, and this is what you get, the beginning of Tristan and Isolde. Now that's already much more than a motive, or even of two motives. It's become what's called a phrase, just as a series of words in language becomes a phrase. And Wagner, by using this method of joining motives together and making phrases out of them, and then sentences out of the phrases, and then paragraphs out of the sentences, finally turns out a whole story, a prelude to Tristan that is a miracle of continuous melody without end, seemingly, even though there isn't a tune anywhere in it. Do you begin to see what I mean by understanding melody in a different way? If you think you don't, just listen to a couple of minutes of this famous prelude now, and I'm sure you'll be surprised to find that you do understand it very well.